Hi, Misha here, and I've got another Star Trek model, this one from Deep Space Nine, model from Eaglemoss, diecast. I was hoping to do this one yesterday when it came in the mail, but I've been actually very busy lately. Take it off the stand, show you there. This is the Jem'Hadar, or Dominion, Battleship. Is seen in the later seasons of Deep Space Nine. Now this is not to be confused with the Battlecruiser we've had in the collection for some time, and it has appeared in a couple of my older videos. This vessel here was kind of the Dominion's primary capital ship. Remember, their standard attack ship or fighter was quite small. This was a big one. It was 760 meters long, so a little longer than a Sovereign, very wide, and it was said to have at least twice the firepower of a Galaxy class. We know that it had energy weapons, beam weapons, Polaron, and at least one major big photon launcher, or other torpedo launcher, I should say. Star Trek's never terribly consistent in that. And it was a big, powerful warship. But we saw this pretty early on in the Dominion War period. Then, though, in 2374, we got to meet the prototype of this little ship here. The Dominion Jem'Hadar Battleship, or Warship, or Dreadnought. This is 1,500 meters long, although scale is debatable. But I think 1,500 works well for this ship, so that's what I'm going with. Memory Alpha says it has at least 10 torpedo tubes. It doesn't mention Polaron beam weapons, but it definitely had them. But we see it mostly using photons. We don't know the crew, but we know the cruiser has at least 2,500 troops, including Jem'Hadar, of course, mostly Jem'Hadar on board. So with this being twice the length, we can assume several thousand. Now keep in mind, part of the length is kind of how far these prongs stick out. So it's a little deceptive. It's still a big ship, but we have the prongs. Also, if we look in the back, we're kind of hollowed out in areas and kind of thin, at least, comparatively speaking. But you can tell it's very much a Dominion ship. It has the same kind of design aesthetic, the bug aesthetic. We saw this in the episode Valiant, where that Defiant class ship full of cadets tried to take this on and got completely pwned. It's mentioned a time or two during the war, and then we see it a couple of times again in the final episode of Deep Space Nine. And that's it. So it appeared, if you want to count the final episode as 2 episodes, it appeared in 3 episodes. 2 if you don't want to. So it was around, and since it was a major plot point of its first episode, I think it's nice that Eaglemoss finally made this. We're getting to the tail end of our collection. Just about a dozen more issues left. So I was happy they did this. Originally they were going to do this as a special, they said, which would be the larger version, but then it was changed to just a standard release. that was probably always just rumor. It was probably always going to be a standard, but you never know. I think it would have been neat to make it a little larger, because as you see, compared with the cruiser, it's about the same size, maybe even a little smaller. And funnily enough, the little attack ship, the Bug as it's often nicknamed, is probably bigger than both of these, but that's because these aren't even attempted to be made to scale. They're just kind of made to size and also detail level. This was a CGI model. It's quite weighty for how thin it is. The wings are the metal, as is kind of the base, and then the top and bottom pieces are your plastic. It has kind of a hollowed out back area, which was in the episode, and that's where the stand kind of goes inside, kind of different for an Eaglemoss, but also nice because the stand is very concealed. And this is one that I have been waiting on since I got into this. Part of it is I'm a completionist, and there's nothing greater to a completionist when they get that final bit for their collection. And this is pretty much it for the Dominion. We didn't see a lot of different ships. And it makes sense considering their background, their history, that they wouldn't have a ton of classes. So this is their big dreadnought, then they have their standard war cruiser, and then they have their attack patrol fighter ship. There's a few others like the Karma ship that aren't, they're members of the Dominion, but they're not Jem'Hadar. And of course you can count the Breen and Cardassians in the fleet too if you want, because they were allies. But yeah, I was really happy. I had no idea this was coming in the mail. It was a complete surprise yesterday. Nice surprise on a Monday to start the week off. So, I think at this point, if you're buying the collection, you know what you're getting. Nice detail level. And again, there have only been one or two other companies that have even tried to make a model or whatever of the ship. It doesn't even appear in many video games. So, there you have it. Just wanted to give you a quick one on it. Not a lot of info on this ship. It was just the big bad of an episode. And it served that role well. Well, if you haven't, you might check out some other little videos. Why not? You have time. If you could, like, share, and subscribe. And also, check out the main channel over at Mishaco. Why not? This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time.